Hi everyone, welcome back to Kidding Around. My name is Melanie Smith, and I think it is marvelous that you are here with me today on another Masterpiece Monday. Today we will be learning about the artist Wassily Kandinsky, and we will also be making some very fun flowers in Kandinsky's style. Before we do that though, if you like what you're seeing here and want to follow along with all of Kidding Around's videos, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the like buttons below each video, and also, if you really like what you're doing here, please share us with your friends. Thank you so much. Alright, so let's move on and talk about Wassily Kandinsky. He was born in Moscow, Russia in 1866. And he was fascinated and stimulated by color as a child, but yet he studied many different fields in school, including economics and law. He is typically credited as the pioneer of abstract art. And abstract art is art that does not represent reality. So in Kandinsky's work, you will see a lot of shapes, and you will see a lot of lines and dots. He also painted more realistic art as well, but the things that he is really known for are these abstract art pieces. He didn't begin painting until the age of 30. And after he started painting, he decided then to apply to art school. Interestingly, he was not immediately accepted into art school, and so he decided to learn art on his own. Isn't that a great testament to his love of art and his willingness to learn no matter what? He spent many of his years as an artist, analyzing forms and colors, and he studied this in his own works and also in other artists' works too. He found that viewing color was a physical experience, and that makes sense to you, right? You see color with your eyes, and your brain interprets that as a color. But Kandinsky also found that viewing color was a spiritual experience, as he felt that color could touch the soul. What do you think of that? I think he's probably very correct. I know that there are times that I see art and I feel like it touches my soul. Have you had that type of experience? If you haven't, just wait. I believe it really will happen. Kandinsky was definitely onto something there. All right, well, here is a painting that definitely has a lot of color in it. Have you seen this painting before? It's called Squares with Concentric Circles, and he painted it in 1913. Look at it just a little. What do you notice? The first thing that I noticed when I saw this painting many years ago was that the circles are not perfect circles. And I love that fact. I think if he had painted perfect circles, the art would have been quite boring. There's such interest and intrigue in the fact that his circles are not perfect. You know, I think there's something of a life lesson in there too. Something about the wrinkles and the bumps being what makes life interesting. What do you think? All right, well, we are going to move on and we are going to make our own Kandinsky-inspired concentric circles. We are going to be using paper and scissors and glue to make ours, where obviously Kandinsky would have used paint. But I think if you look at this project, you will definitely see his inspiration peeking through, right? The other thing that we are going to be doing is we are going to make our circles into flowers. You know, spring is coming and I cannot wait to start seeing those flowers pop up through the soil. Maybe our flowers will encourage those to come just a little faster. All right, well, as we mentioned, to do this project, you will need a few supplies. You will need a glue stick and scissors, and then you will also need some construction paper. So let's talk about this construction paper just a minute. You will need one full sheet of paper for your background. I would recommend that this be white. And then you will need some other pieces of construction paper. Of course, you can make your concentric circles any color that you would like. You can try to mimic some of Kandinsky's from his painting, or you can go with your own color scheme, or you can make rainbows, because I think rainbows make everybody happy. It's up to you. So you will need the colors of paper that you want to make into your flowers. I have here rainbow paper, and you can also see that these are not full sheets of paper. These are from my scrap bin, and this is a great project to use some of those scraps that you kept over from other projects. In addition to these 3 items, you will also need some white glue and some buttons for the very end of this project. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing that you are going to do is pick the color that you want to be in the center of your flower. I am going to make some more rainbow flowers because I just absolutely love rainbows, but of course you can pick whatever color you would like. But so I am going to start with this purple. I'm going to work from the inside out, going kind of backwards rainbow order. So then as we start from the outside going in, it is rainbow order. So the rainbow order is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So I'm going to grab my purple, and I don't know if you noticed or not, but there is no pencil in our supplies today, and that is by design. We are going to freehand these circles because we just talked about nothing perfect is very interesting, right? Well, maybe some perfect things are interesting, but I guarantee in art, the things that aren't perfect are usually the most interesting. All right, so I am going to take my purple, my first color, and I am going to come to the edge, just so I don't waste too much paper by cutting through it. And I am going to make a circle. And I am just freehanding this. I didn't draw it first, and that is not a perfect circle, but it is going to be perfectly imperfect, right? Okay, so then you decide what next color you want to have on your flower. So I am going to be using my blue because I'm working backwards through the rainbow. And then I am going to glue my purple circle, my first circle, onto my blue, which is my next color. I'm going to glue it kind of close to an edge so that I can stay close, just like I did to the purple, stay close so I'm not cutting clear through the paper and wasting all this paper. But I'm going to glue it there, and then I am going to take my scissors, again, no pencil, and I am just going to cut around the purple a little bit. So I'm leaving a border of blue. I'm just cutting outside a little bit. All right, and then before we go any further, I should tell you, you could be cutting in here. Here, I'll show you on the blue. You could be cutting little slits in here. When we get done, if you want, we are going to be folding up the papers just a little bit, just to give them a little bit of texture. So this is where you can start cutting in to the paper just a little so that later on we'll be able to kind of fold them up easily. All right, now I'm going to take my next color that I want. So I am going to take green, and I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to glue this blue, my second color, onto my third color. Just like that, and again, I'm gluing in the corner so that I can keep my cuts close. And then I am going to cut around the blue, and I'm leaving a border of green as I do this. All right, and look, it looks like I didn't quite leave enough room there to make an even border. Guess what? This is great. This is perfect. All right, so then once I've done that, I am going to go ahead and I am going to snip in just a few little slits here so that later on I can fold it up and make a little bit of extra texture. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but these don't quite lay flat. They've been kind of fluffed up a little. So that's what I'm doing. All right, and then I bet you know what I do next. I am going to glue on my green, my three colors, onto my fourth. And there we go. Again, right next to the corner of the paper, and then I am going to cut out around it. Just a little bit. It's up to you how much color you leave, how much extra color of the next color you leave. It's whatever you want to do, and it depends kind of on how big you want your flower to be. You can see here this one's very big, and this one's quite a bit smaller. Anything from this to this, in between, bigger, smaller, great, it works. All right, and then I'm going to snip in these little slits, and I'm making, I don't know, I think between 5 and 6 slits. Of course, you can make however many that you want. All right, now do you know what I'm going to do? I am going to take my fifth color, and I am going to glue my first 4 colors onto it. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but as I glue these, I am making sure that I'm only gluing in the center, and I'm leaving quite a bit of empty space without glue. And that is because I want to fold them and ruffle them and give them a little bit of texture when I'm done. If you don't want to do that, you certainly are free to glue a little bit further out on your circle. All right, so here we go. Here is our 5th circle, and you can see it is not perfectly distanced, and I love it. That is what makes interest in art. So I'm snipping my few snips here. All right, now what do? I have 1 color left, and I am going to put 5 colors on the 6th color. Of course, there's nothing that says that you have to have 6 colors. You could absolutely have a 3-ringed flower or a 7-ringed flower, and you could repeat colors too. You could absolutely do some patterns. It's all up to you. All right, now I'm cutting around to make my last circle. And here we go. All right. Yes, I love it. So the final thing I'm going to do is make my little cuts. And then I am going to set this one aside, and I am going to make my 2nd flower. I am going to reverse the order of the colors. I like the way that that worked with the rainbow going in on this one and the rainbow coming out on that one. So now my 1st circle will be my red. So my smallest circle will be my red. And I think I am going to make this one even smaller than this 1st one that I made here. All right, so there is my red. You can see that it's very small because that's what I wanted to do. So you do the same with your art. All right, so I think I'll use this little piece over here. So I'm going to glue, again, my 1st color on my 2nd color, and then I'm going to cut around the 1st color, leaving a border of the 2nd color. And there's my circle, and now I'm going to start making my little slits in there. So because this one's smaller, I think I'll probably do 4, at least 4 my 2nd color. And then I will be adding these 2 to the 3rd, and I'll put that right there. I always try to leave the biggest piece of construction paper that I can when I'm making scraps, because that means that I have the most possibility of being able to use it in another project. So I kind of plan out where I'm going to cut my items from. All right, so now I'm making my 4 slits in my yellow, and I'm going to the green. And here, I'll put this up here because that gives me still quite a big chunk down here of green to use for another project. All right, so now I have put my 3 colors on my 4th, and I am going to cut the circle here. I can't wait to see all of the different colors that you use on your flowers. I'm so excited. All right, so I now have 4 colors here. So I'm going to my 5th color. Let's see, where's the best place to, I guess maybe I'll put it here because then I'll still have this great big piece of blue to use for something else. All right, and I glue on my green, and then I am going to cut around it. This is old hat by now, right? You absolutely know what to do. So here we go. It's really fun to see these come together. They are just such happy, inducing art, don't you think? All right, and my last color. Now I'm going to my purple. So I glue in the middle of my 5 colors, and I put that down on my 6th color, and I am cutting my last circle. Now you can see, are any of my circles perfect? No, not even close, right? But I think they're all very interesting. I really do like Mary Poppins. Oh, maybe it's not Mary Poppins. I don't know where I've heard it. The perfectly imperfect. I just love that idea. All right, so there we go. All right, so now I am going to fold up just a little bit, just gently, between all of those little snips that I just made with my scissors. This is just going to give our flowers a little bit more texture. It makes them a little bit rougher, which I think is just perfect for these perfectly imperfect circles. All right, and then I'll do that with this one too. I just kind of start from the outside in and just gently, you can see that I'm not making great big creases. I'm just kind of moving them up a little bit just to give them some movement some texture. This is something that Kandinsky did very well with brushes, which is he was very talented to make those circles look like they had texture. Of course, what he was painting on was flat, but he made it look like there was movement and texture just by using his paintbrush. All right, so now I have them the way that I want them. Oh, and you know what? It looks like that yellow popped off, so I'm going to just re-glue it so they stick. There we go. All right, so then you get to decide where you want them on your paper. I guess I did it that way before, so I am going to make the smaller one taller and the bigger one shorter. All right, so then to do that, I just then glue on my flower onto the paper in much the same way we've been doing, flip it over, put some glue on. And again, you see I'm not gluing clear to the edges because that still allows for that movement and that texture of the outer ring. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my green and I'm going to make some stems and a couple leaves. And this I really do just kind of eyeball to figure out how long I need to cut my stems. I know this one will be a little bit long, but you know what? I can just kind of hide that up underneath there, and there we go. So I am going to glue that down. Just one long strip of glue, and then I will place it just to the bottom of my paper. And then I'll do that again here too. That's quite a short one. I bet I could use that little thing right there. Perfect. That's a great use of that little strip that was sticking out there on my scrap. All right, so I'm going to glue that there. And then I am going to make a leaf just with another strip of paper, right? And so just one line of glue. There we go. And let's see if I can find one more. I actually think I'm going to make 2 leaves, or maybe even 3 on this tall flower. So here, I'll cut this strip into 3, and you can see I didn't measure that at all, right? I just thought, oh, I'll be able to make that work. All right, and I'll put a leaf there, and a leaf there, and then I will do my final leaf just right there at the bottom. And there we go. We have a beautiful Kandinsky-inspired flower project just begging for spring to start, don't you think? Well, I am so silly. I forgot the last part. We still need the centers of our flowers, right? Now, this is something Kandinsky didn't do. Maybe that's why I forgot it. But I think it's something that's kind of fun for this project. So if you want to do this, of course you could leave it the way it is. But if you want to do this, what you do is you take a button, you find a button, an old button, or, I just have a jar of buttons. I have used these in many, many projects. And so I just keep them around because I obviously didn't want to waste them. And then I am just going to glue on a button in the center of each of these flowers. And of course, for this, you should probably use white glue. The glue stick won't allow the buttons to stick quite as well. So you just take your white glue and you glue them on, and now we can say our art is complete, our beautiful Kandinsky flowers. I would love to see your Kandinsky-inspired flowers. Please ask a grown-up to take a picture of yours and put that on our Facebook site. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've had as much fun as I have learning a little bit about Kandinsky and making some beautiful, beautiful flowers. I hope that you will join me on Wednesday. We'll be traveling on Wednesday because it's our Wanderlust Wednesday. I can't wait to hop on that plane with you. Well, until then, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks so much for kidding around with me. I will see you next time.